skies, 73 degrees at the Gold Tower at Westport. Steve Potter, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
And now, the Frank and Jill Show. It's Frank Cusimano, Jill Farmer on the Big 550 KTRS, the talk of St. Louis. Powered by STL Medical Weight Loss. See the Dr. Joe difference at stlmedweightloss.com.
Good morning and welcome to the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. If you'd like to be a part of the program, the Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126. So you can watch us on YouTube and Facebook. Got a good guest list today. Dr. Rick at 1035, Joe Holloman at 1108, and then Mark Lammert. He was the CEO of Compliance Solutions, a real St. Louis success story. They are a sponsor of the Stiefel Charity Classic at Norwood Hills Country Club. Mark is the pride of Riverview Gardens. He's got quite a story to tell. In fact, his goal in life, in addition to making Compliance Solutions a great company, is to run 100 marathons.
Oh, my gosh.
He runs one every other month. Can you imagine that? And it's not the 5K. It's the 26.2.
Yeah, I've run a few 5Ks in my life, and I always call them my marathons because it took me. I about the same time as somebody would running a full marathon when I do my 5K. Good to be back with you today, Sir Frank.
Yes, you saw Nebraska and Cincinnati.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little while too. It was a really, really good weekend. We've talked about this a lot, but one of the gifts of this season of life. There's some hard stuff, as our parents age, but one of the gifts is having adult children and then when your adult children live out of town and they're in town for a fun weekend, it just doesn't get any better than that.
So they were in St. Louis?
Yep, we were in Kansas City together, and then we spent the rest of the weekend in St. Louis. Of course, the Gateway Cup bike races happening in our neighborhood on Friday night, and the girls had never been in St. Louis on that weekend to see about how exciting that is. And I know in the Hill and over in Francis Park, having friends there who went to the bike races over the weekend, it sounds like it was just
nice,
successful as can be.
Are you on your porch like Seinfeld-esque and yelling, "You're all winners"?
Yeah, exactly. We do cheer when they come around, especially when you get to they get into the last 28th, 29th laps, and it's to me, it's just very, very exciting visually to watch them. The cyclists are just right next to each other, and you can feel the wind as it whips by you. It's just always a really fun event.
And they're really cooking, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
How long is the race?
I think it's 30 laps, and in our neighborhood, it's about a mile around the park. So it takes some endurance and the level of speed, and the precision, just how close they are to each other. It's really fun.
So we started watching your TV show last night.
What'd you think, Hostage?
Yeah, it's really good.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of it throws you, just when you think, oh, this is going to be an interesting twist, and then it throws in a couple other twists, we'll say.
Yes, and pretty seedy. I don't know if I'd say seedy, but boy,
it's a shocking plot twist with the French president, for sure.
The one affair that's going on in this is just, oh my gosh.
Wait till you see how that unfolds. I like it too. This is probably my ADD. The fact that it was 5 episodes. You didn't get
Wait a minute, it's only 5 episodes?
So it didn't get to that point like some of the shows where it's like, okay, I'm losing the plot here a little bit. Even Friends and Neighbors, which I loved with our friend John Hamm, my soon-to-be friend, your good friend John Hamm.
He was with us last week.
Yeah, I know. I heard it was great while I was gone. All my favorite people were here, but I was not. So you probably don't care about this, but I think it's funny. I've seen lots of stuff on social media today. Do you know about the old adage that you're not supposed to wear white after Labor Day? Women aren't supposed to wear white shoes, or you're supposed to put away the white pants.
Yeah. In fact, I had a question with Monique about it last week. I said, should I wear this really light khaki? She says it's 90 degrees, so you can do that. So.
And also, it is still summer until the 21st. I like to say that. But I don't think most people adhere to the rule. Well, first of all, most people only wear white tennis shoes. It's not quite the same thing where as it used to be in fashion, where women only wore white sandals. But white jeans are such a fashion staple.
For women, that don't want to wear shorts. white jeans is the way to go.
And so I think those rules are gone that you have to stop after Labor Day. But I would be curious on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126. Any of you still saying, nope, that's how my mom or my grandmother or somebody else in my life taught it, and it's a good rule of thumb. It just makes it easier to make the transition. So I just don't wear white after Labor Day. I'm still going to be wearing my white pants, just so you know, at work.
Part 2 of that question is it okay for men to wear white jeans?
Yeah. Actually, though, John does kind of wonder when it's time to put the khaki pants away, too. So I'm curious.
Well, khaki's a whole different story. The question is it, you think it's cool for men to wear white jeans, period?
I haven't seen too many men in white jeans. I've seen them in white linen pants in Italy when we were traveling a lot. That was a very common
Europeans, yeah. But in a gentle ribbing sort of way, Brooke's husband definitely has some white jeans, and we kind of, those are so nice.
But you you don't just defer to say, listen, if somebody's a lot younger than me, they're going to be more on top of this than I am, so I can't claim. Because
and it's a joke, by the way. So.
And yeah, I can't give my kids too hard of a time because I figure they know better than me in some ways. Do you have any white jeans, Connor?
I don't think so. Frank,
have you ever had white jeans?
No. I mean, I've had like a white pair of pants, I think, in the same kind of like linen. I don't know why I had it.
Linen is, yeah.
I guess I was like going to the beach or something, but
or family photos. And Mom will get everybody white linen photos for the pictures on the beach. Yeah, that's a good thought.
Somewhat related clothing story. I got a text this morning at about 9:15 from Monique, and she says, "Do you want to explain this?" And they're women's socks that are now in our laundry that did not belong to her.
That is strange.
And I have no response at all. And then I sarcastically said she meant nothing to me, but I mean that didn't go over well. So
this is good stuff, you guys, on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line. We'll get to all of them before we're done, but this one is good. A big no on the man wearing white jeans. Only way you can wear white jeans from the 573 is if you are a painter.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, those are even kind of off-white a little bit. Somebody else saying white cargo shorts, of course, that's okay. And then from the 314, my white stuff, all put away, including white jeans. That was what I was looking for. I thought there were some people who were pretty traditional and going to toe the line on that.
All right, let's take our first break. When we come back, the opening dialogue. This is the Frank and Jill Show, the Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126.
Some of my fondest memories as a kid is heading down to the hardware store. You had to pick up a couple of nails, a couple of screws, maybe a gallon of paint, whatever it may be, right? It was your friendly neighborhood hardware store. Well, those don't exist anymore in St. Louis, except for Schnarr's Hardware. They have 2 locations in Webster Groves and in Clayton Road in Ladue. Schnarr's Hardware is that place where you go in and you can get that bucket of paint, you can get a couple screws. The advice is always free. And the one thing about Schnarr's Hardware that every single family hardware store used to have, and that is the smell. It smells like a hardware store. It's got the selection. I don't know how they do it. It's a small store, but they got everything you ever need. They got the paint. They got paint matching. They've got big green eggs. They've got screws and nails and everything a hardware store should have. Schnarr's Hardware, 2 locations, 1 great hardware store. Schnarr's Hardware, we'll see you there.
Since 1974, Permajack of St. Louis has been helping residential and commercial owners protect their biggest investment. From successfully solving foundation structural problems to making sure basements remain dry, Permajack has performed tens of thousands of projects on both sides of the river, utilizing state-of-the-art technology, techniques, and equipment. Permajack of St. Louis has done it with honesty and integrity, never recommending anything outside of what you really need. For many repairs, Permajack provides a transferable life of structure warranty, all while Permajack of St. Louis has earned a BBB A+ rating and accreditation. For foundation settlement, bowed or buckling walls, cracks in your foundation, walls or bricks, or basement waterproofing, choose the hometown family-owned team at Permajack of St. Louis. Schedule your free inspection and estimate at permajackofstlewis.com. That's permajackofstlewis.com. Permajack, solid as rock.
Hi, St. Louis. This is Ben with Timberline Professional Tree Care. You've heard me for years warning of the devastating effects of emerald ash borer. Well, the time has finally come that this pest has damaged or killed almost every untreated ash tree in the region. For some trees, it might be too late. But if you only have minor damage to your tree, please call Timberline Professional Tree Care as quickly as possible and get on our treatment schedule. Further, if you've been using a box store remedy or if another local provider has been treating your ash tree, give us a call. We bet we can save you a lot of money on your treatment program. Timberline has 7 ISA certified arborists and 5 licensed applicators to diagnose, treat, and save your trees from this and other harmful pests. To save your trees, just like we've saved thousands of other trees in the area, visit our new website at stltreecare.com or call 636-479-7475 anytime.
It's Miller Furniture's Labor Day clearance event going on now through September 9th.
I'm Mark Miller, owner of Miller Furniture and Mattress, your home for quality American-made furniture since 1927. Right now, you'll save up to 75% off our list price on all in-stock furniture and up to 50% off select custom orders at our Belleville, Fairview Heights, Lake St. Louis, and Ellisville showrooms.
Plus, shop our Stickley galleries in Fairview Heights and Belleville and take 40% off MSRP on all in-stock and custom order Stickley furniture. We have new and fresh looks on display like Flex Steel leather reclining sofas with power headrest and lumbar support, or our unique heirloom quality Amish-made furniture.
Are you ready to sleep better and save big? Right now, save up to $800 on select adjustable mattress sets from Tempur-Pedic and Stearns & Foster, or get half-price Chatham & Wells mattresses with the purchase of an adjustable base.
Don't miss our Labor Day clearance event going on now through September 9th. And check out Miller Furniture on Facebook for additional sales offers and new showroom arrivals.
At Miller Furniture, we put the family in furniture.
And now the opening dialogue with Frank and Jill on the Big 550 KTRS. Powered by Worldwide Technology Raceway.
All right, thought one. So one of the most eventful weeks in St. Louis sports history has begun. Spent the morning with probably the coolest cat in town, JJK. She held her 5K run on the racetrack where the Enjoy Illinois 300 will be run on Sunday. It's a fascinating relationship with Curtis Francois, JJK, and Dave Stewart. Jackie not only has the foundation and the center, but an incredible school which cost a lot of money to educate each child in the way they do it, and they need funding. So the track has been helpful in so many ways, and having the world's greatest female athlete associated with your organization is a good thing too. And then over at Norwood, the place looks smashing. Wait till you see how Stiefel has dressed it up for the Stiefel Charity Classic. The 80 or so best senior golfers on the planet coming to Lucas and Hunt, and the band OAR has really helped the gate. They have tripled the sales for that Friday round, that opening round. And remember, as soon as that last putt on Friday drops in that 4 to 5 range, the concert begins. St. Louis will be electric all weekend, not to mention Al Rabowski going into the Hall of Fame and City SC in action. Really excited.
Very, very exciting. And we have some tickets to give away for OAR in this show. Stick around. We'll tell you in a little while how you can win those tickets to enjoy the concert and enjoy what is shaping up to be a really special weekend in St. Louis. I mean, it's art. It's the St. Louis art show this weekend. Just a lot of stuff going on. Cards in Town. It's going to be a lot of fun. Sarah Fensky, our friend from St. Louis Magazine, reporting on something that I thought was really fun the last couple of days. Where are they now? There's been a few St. Louisans who were, to say the least, very much in the spotlight, many for very scandalous reasons. What are they up to now? Steve Stanger, of course, in 2019, former St. Louis County executive, got hit with nearly 4 years in federal prison after pleading guilty to public corruption felonies, pay-to-play scheme, and tossing county business to a donor. In exchange, he served his time, got out back in 2021, had a pretty low profile for a while, but more recently he's been spotted around downtown Instagram. Public Instagram account lists him as a private investor, whatever he's investing in. Seems to be doing okay. He's had some recent photos, family in Italy and Hawaii. He also, according to rumors, is the guy behind Insight for St. Louis, an account on X, which has a lot to say about County Executive Sam Page. Kim Gartner, where's Waldo? No one seems to know. Hard to think of any St. Louis politician more reviled than Kim Gartner. Of course, twice elected circuit attorney, took the brunt of public's blame for the volleyball player being run over downtown. A few months after that revelation, she was enrolled full-time as a nursing student as her office went down in flames. That led to, of course, her downfall. No one, though, seems to know where she is. She entered a federal diversion program for misusing taxpayer money back in October. She was sued by at least one former employee. She faces some other legal issues as well. The attorney who served a summons to Gardner as part of her former employee's lawsuit says he doesn't even know where she is. Her lawyers are refusing to divulge.
Well, I hope she's a nurse. I mean, she was going to school, so.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't know about that, though. I think with somebody she showed some lack of judgment. I think it's fair to say universally without being too much of an editorializing.
Yeah.
So I'd hope she'd show better judgment.
Editorialize on her. I don't think that's going out on a limb. Thought two. So last night had to be one of the most anticipated college football games in history.
Sure was.
For teams not in the top 25. TCU was at North Carolina. Let me put this in perspective. Bill Belichick going to coach at North Carolina is like the Pope going to be the pastor at St. Mary Magdalene. There's nothing noteworthy about North Carolina football. The last 25 years, they've won 50.2% of their games. They're the essence of average, the essence of mediocrity. And you could make a case for Belichick being the greatest football coach of all time, second most in wins and most Super Bowl wins. I could argue against it too, but the resume is glistening. There's no doubt about it. And you throw in, you have a 73-year-old dating the 24-year-old, the curious relationship with his owner and his quarterback, the hoodie, the two-word answers. Well, you just had to watch Bill Belichick's second act in his move into college football. And what did you see? Disaster. 41 unanswered points by TCU, a 48-14 drubbing. Michael Jordan even left at halftime. And the questions have to be asked. Well, his last 2 years as a pro coach, he was 8-9 and 4-13. And he's 20 games under 500 as a head coach when Tom Brady is not his quarterback. Holy cow, what an unbelievable disaster last night in Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
So is that line about Tom Brady meant to say that maybe he didn't deserve the credit he got as a coach?
No, but I think the stat, look, he was a great coach. There was no doubt about it. But it is interesting, when Tom Brady wasn't his quarterback, he's well below 500. So, I don't know. I still think he's a great coach. But without Brady, I mean, it's, look, like you can point to every great coach in history. Bill Walsh, he had Lombardi. I mean, he had Montana. Lombardi had Bart Starr. Mm-hmm. You know, Shula had Unitas. So they all need a great quarterback, but it is interesting how mediocre he's been without Tom Brady in his life.
Okay, interesting. Pack your bags, St. Louis. Lufthansa upping its game starting June 1st through October 20th of next year. We're going to have 5 flights a week straight from Lambert to Frankfurt. That's 2 more days of service than we had last summer, thanks to sky-high demand. Seriously, the flights were 94% full. That's good. More seats, maybe more schnitzel, more bragging rights for St. Louisans who say, yay, we've got direct flights to Europe. Grab your passport and remember, this isn't O'Fallon. We're ready. We are headed overseas. I was on that first Lufthansa flight from St. Louis when it first landed. I had a chance to talk to about 3 or 4 people because there was a press conference and stuff before. It just was coincidence that I was on that flight. It wasn't like I was invited or anything. But there were some dignitaries who were invited to be on it, and I had a chance to talk to a few people. And Frank, I didn't realize until that day what a detriment it's been for St. Louis for the 20 years that we did not have a direct flight to Europe. It is a huge problem for many companies. Any companies considering expanding, considering moving headquarters out of St. Louis, considering moving things to St. Louis. Not having an international flight is one of those things that puts you on the same level as a Wichita or a Des Moines, as opposed to where we want to be, which is closer to the other Midwest, big Midwestern cities, Chicago, Indianapolis. And so I just thought, well, it's inconvenient, but we can go through Chicago or Newark or all the other places we fly through on our way to Europe for people who go. But to not have a direct flight to the European continent was not good for business. And so I always tell friends now that I know this, if you happen to be flying to Europe, do consider taking that flight because we want to keep it here as long as possible.
That's a good thought. All right, my thought 3. So I told the story on Friday that I had told more lies than a politician in trying to surprise Monique with a car. And when I got to the dealership, I had to lie some more. So they needed my insurance card to complete the transaction, and I didn't have it on me. So I had to call Monique and tell her that I got pulled over, and the policeman was very nice, but said, I have to see your insurance card. So Monique, can you please text it to me? And I'm sitting right next to the Bommarito people. And she fell for it. So I got the car and I parked it in the driveway and said, come on outside and say hi to your granddaughter, Zoe. Another one of my lies to surprise her. I told her I needed her car that day to drive Zoe, which has our car seat, because I was going to be taking care of Zoe all day. So she was stunned and silent. Now, keep in mind, she never asked for anything, and all she does is serve others. And her response was, what? Is this real? This is too nice. Did you really do this? Are you serious? Not like moments of glee, like initially, first 10 seconds. I said, it's yours, enjoy. So I would have stayed a long time to see her come out of the coma completely on the driveway. And it really was, she was in a coma.
Oh.
But I was late and I was going to hit some balls with Don. But it was worth it. The smile before I left was worth it. And I got to tell you this. I've learned from doing this, all of this dreaming and scheming and all these freaking lies. I could never cheat on her because it's too exhausting. Well, that's one of the reasons. Just telling her all those lies the entire week to set this thing up. But oh my gosh.
And since you and I have not been able to be in the studio together since last Tuesday, the millions of people listening already know this story, but I missed it Thursday, Friday. Give me the update. What did you buy her? How did you, and what made you think that you wanted to surprise her with the car?
Nicest Pinto that Bomarito sells.
Excellent.
Green
You
one,
didn't even know they had
bucket
Hugos
seats,
anymore, huh?
a track. It was outstanding. Somebody said, why did you not call the insurance company? I did call the insurance company, but I got an answering machine, and I had to get this thing done. So, yeah.
That's in my ongoing quest to help with your efficiency. I'm going to show you how to just put it in a little file on your phone, so you always have it with
I've
you.
had it in there, but
I was going to say, you don't know how to pull it up on your
But
phone.
no, really do fill me out. So it was time for her to have a new car, and so
Yes.
you said, I'm not going to let her just get the utilitarian thing that she always gets. I want to up the game a little for her.
And she wanted a sport utility because with 3 grandkids and all the stuff she does with them, she just needed it. And I really went over it with Brooke, who's like a mini Monique. Said, do you think? Oh, she goes, oh, she would love this to death. So I didn't go completely blind, but I didn't want her to have anything to do with it. I didn't want her to know about it. I just wanted to put the keys in her hand.
So she was just thinking, at some point we got to get a new car. That's one more thing I got to deal with. And instead, you just had a dream car waiting for her in the driveway. That's an upgrade. Oh, good job. Yeah. Kudos. I mean, seriously, that is fantastic. I have goosebumps. I love that story. And I'm quite sure that the silence was just pure gratitude and awe.
But I will say this. Does it make me a bad person that I played the car card a little bit later in the weekend? Well, how do you like your car? Oh, you're going to play this off? So I brought that up at least once.
It doesn't make you a bad person, but is it shocking? No. Is it totally exactly what everyone would expect? Will you be calling quid pro quo on that favor from here to eternity? Yes. Once again, as I say almost every week, God bless Monique. Ever been stuck next to that guy at a game? You know the one. Well, we had nosebleed seats at the Nebraska-Cincinnati game Friday. By the way, Connor, Taylor and Travis were there. They actually
but
were
you weren't
at the game.
in the box.
I was
you
not
weren't
in the box
seat.
But it was still kind of cool that they were at the game.
How far away were you from them?
Very far, because we were up in the 50-yard line nosebleed section. But great view of the field. It was a blast. Arrowhead's a very fun and loud place to go to a game. But we were, as I said, nosebleed section. But unfortunately, we had front row seats to that one guy's anger issues. Dude, running commentary. Every call was wrong. Every play was stupid. Every player was terrible. And let's just say his vocabulary would have made a sailor blush, to say the least. Alcohol clearly on the roster. By halftime, people around him were visibly shrinking in their seats. And, I've had this experience at many sporting events, both of our pro teams here in town, high school and college, in the last few years. It's amazing how one super negative, super loud fan can change the whole vibe of the night. You go from excited to exhausted by the third quarter. I don't know what the fix is here. Do we need better crowd control? Is it just a universal fan timeout corner where we send the foul-mouthed folks to cool off? What do you guys think? Have you ever had a game-ruining fan experience? Should anything be done about it? Is it just the price you pay? People are passionate. People can be negative.
And the game was sold out, and you couldn't go to another seat?
We couldn't go to another seat. And I'm very sensitive to the fact that there were grandparents sitting in front of us with grandkids. I hate when people use that kind of language around. I know kids have heard it other places on the school bus or whatever. But it wasn't just the language. It's just like, also I just wanted to say, just shut up and let us watch the game. We're disappointed that the receiver dropped the ball as well. That was not a great... But we don't have to sit here and just rant about it. I don't know.
I think it's worth of a chat with the usher,
Yeah.
I would have done it.
I mean, a lot of times you are like running around on the fields and stuff. I don't know how
I
often
don't
you're
really
sitting
sit
in
in
the
the
stands very often anymore, but and so it could just be me getting older and noticing it more. But it feels like it's gotten worse. It feels like everybody thinks they know better than the coaches. They think that the players are all that they could do better than all them.
And believe me, if I had little kids there, they were my kids, and I would have said something to the guy. Yeah, for sure. I mean, in a nice way to begin with.
Yeah, we have done that before with our kids. We did. I remember once we were at a Missouri Valley Conference final game, and years ago when our girls were in front of us, and finally John just turned around after about the third time and said, "Either you're going to move or I'm going to make you move because you're not going to talk this way the whole game in front of our kids." And they moved, so it worked out well for both of us. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line, though, for sure. Capital Advisory Group, our friend Jeff Zufall. We don't think of this time of the year as tax season necessarily, but, some of you, some folks did some late filing, and it actually is a great time, an excellent time for you to start thinking about your tax and your tax liability, because it's one of the things that Jeff Zufall is an expert in wealth management at Capital Advisory Group for many years, has seen so many people not make a priority, and it has cost them lots and lots of money that could have been supporting them in their retirement years. So he thinks it's always a good time, but particularly before we get into the nitty-gritty of tax season, once we get into the new year, it's a great time now to think tax strategy and to do it with the help of Jeff and his team at Capital Advisory Group. So I know it's one of those things a lot of times we're going to get to someday, but do yourself a favor. It's the start of a new week. Get it on your to-do list and then actually make the call, 636-394-5524, capitaladvisorygrp.com. Set up that appointment with Jeff and his team, and you'll be very glad you did come tax time next year.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
A weak weather disturbance nearby, spitting out a few spotty showers this morning. Let's have the umbrellas handy, but rain coverage is limited overall. Otherwise, it's a partly sunny and cooler than normal day, with highs in the low 80s this afternoon. Partly cloudy and dry tonight. We'll drop it down to about 63 early Wednesday. Tomorrow, warmer, a high of 86 as we wait on the arrival of a cold front. That front shows up late in the afternoon and evening on Wednesday, bringing scattered showers and a few thunderstorms. And then much cooler air behind that front on Thursday. Highs only in the low 70s under mostly sunny skies Thursday afternoon. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
It's Julie Buck here to tell you that the patio is open at Bishop's Post right next to Chesterfield Mall. Get your reservations in now and go to Bishop's Post. You will love it. Tell them Julie Buck sent you, bishopspost.com.
The ultimate vacation awaits you as Brentwood Travel brings you the River Cruise Show. Monday, September 8th from 2 to 7 p.m. at the Lodge du Pere. Take in breathtaking scenery, relax and unwind on an ultimate river cruise, whether it be domestic or abroad. Enjoy expert presentations from cruise line representatives from AMA Waterways, Talk, Avalon Waterways, Uniworld Boutique River Cruises, and Viking, with one-on-one consultations, exclusive deals and prizes for attendees, flexible schedule so you attend only presentations that interest you, and complimentary refreshments. Discover your perfect river cruise adventure with Brentwood Travel and the River Cruise Show. Monday, September 8th at the Lodge du Pere, 1050 du Pere Road. For presentation schedule to RSVP and more information, call 314-439-5700. That's 314-439-5700 or log on to brentwoodtravel.com. The ultimate vacation awaits you. RSVP today.
Hey, Heidi Glaus here, and this Friday we're taking our show on the road to one of my favorite little getaways, Defiance, Missouri, and Beyond the Trail RV Park. Join us at Good News Brewing, a brewery that serves fantastic wood-fired pizza. That's this Friday from 3 to 6 in Defiance.
Are you tired of looking at those old, worn-out floors? Have you been dreaming of new hardwood floors? Well, then you should start dreaming about Boardwalk Hardwood. It's their annual warehouse sale going on right now through the end of September at all 4 locations. At Boardwalk Hardwood Floors, half off new floors. You can get half off inventory and factory specials and up to 25% off special order items. Their showrooms, 4 of them at Boardwalk Hardwood Floors, are filled with beautiful styles, great budgets, From timeless classics to modern designs and everything in between, your home will look beautiful with gorgeous hardwood floors. Rich, stunning hardwood floors courtesy of BoardwalkHardwood.com. For 25 years, Boardwalk has been your trusted, local, family-owned, quality flooring provider. And if you need hardwood floors, it's their annual warehouse sale now through the end of September at all 4 locations. Boardwalk Hardwood or BoardwalkHardwood.com.
Sign.
And welcome back. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. On Tuesdays, we talk with Dr. Rick. Get the questions in. Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126. Dr. Rick, good to be with you. How are you, sir?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Very good. Lots to talk about. 4 body weight exercises that make you stronger than most 30-year-olds after 50. Give us the best single one.
Well, I think they're pretty straightforward, and I think the best one probably is push-ups. But, they talk about upper extremity, lower extremity, so you want to do some squats. And probably at the end of the day, you probably want to do some planks for your core. So you're hitting the 3 majors. You're hitting your uppers, your lowers, and your core. So I would say squats. The big one is push-ups because that does work your core. And then just boring planks. You get on all fours. And you plank for a minute or however long you can plank for. And, those are going to keep you strong and going to limit the reversal of your muscle strength.
I think there's a lot of us in the listening audience today who use gel nail polish. It lasts longer, and if you're somebody who goes to the nail salon, you want to get a little more bang for your buck. Europe is banning it. However, there's some stuff in it that supposedly is not good for us.
Well, this is shocking. My daughters all went wild because I sent them all this little article. EU has banned gel, and I don't know that much about it other than they use some kind of heat to get it on there, and it's beautiful and it glistens and it's great. Unfortunately, it's very toxic and creates infertility and probably skin cancer. But if you think about it, if you're going to put this stuff on your nail and then you're going to heat it into your nail bed, which is vascular, you have to worry that, maybe it's not the best for you. So it's not, warning, it's not banned in the United States. Triscuits are not banned in the United States. Wheat thins are not banned in the United States. They're all banned in the EU. But it may be coming. And again, I think what you're going to see is some alternative to gel nail polish.
Okay, I'm going to stop using it then. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, next up, a recent study about a cup of coffee every morning makes you happier?
Well, there's always this debate. This debate is coffee good, coffee bad? And I think coffee is good for lots of reasons. I think it wakes you up. I think it gives you a little bit of vitality. And now what it does is it blocks adenosine, so it actually makes you happier. But you know what? If you think about it, you talk to people that drink their cup of coffee in the morning, they're happier. They say, hey, I just feel better when I drink my cup of coffee. So I think the clinical evidence just really supports what everybody already knows. Now, again, we've talked about this before. When you dump a bunch of stuff in your coffee and make it a $7 coffee, then it's not so healthy for you. But just black coffee or black with some creamer or maybe a little sugar, rock and roll, I think you're going to find that, yes, your cup of coffee in the morning blocking this adenosine is going to be very beneficial for you.
I have a couple friends that have made the transition to mushroom coffee. Of course, I'm not a coffee drinker, so I'm not good at weighing in on this conversation, but they swear by it, and it's got some additional benefits and gives them that kick. Is that just in their brain, or you think there's some truth to it?
Well, so mushrooms have, there's a free radical component of mushrooms, and mushrooms are healthy. The caffeine content in mushroom coffee is lower, so I think if you want more bang for your buck, you need to drink a little bit more of it. Obviously, if you drink 2 cups, you get twice the caffeine. And clearly, it has some benefits in terms of health activities based on the free radicals and some of the positives of mushrooms. So again, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And the people out there that drink tea swear by their teas, black tea, green tea. So again, pick your poison. But all these are probably going to give you a little pop in the morning, and it's not the worst thing.
All right, so we have Dr. Joe Molesky, STL medical weight loss expert. He's a sponsor of the program and a great guest. And we had him on last week, and I really wanted to get your take too, because I have a friend who is early 70s, avid weightlifter, And for the first time in his life, he went on the shot about a year ago.
GLP shot.
Yeah. And he does not have any of the aches and pains he normally had as an avid weightlifter and a guy in his 70s. I just didn't know this was going to be a side effect in addition to losing weight.
So, in my practice, obviously, besides seeing athletes, we see a lot of bodybuilders. And I would say probably 75, and, maybe I'm giving away secrets, maybe I shouldn't be, but 75% of the bodybuilders are now on tirzepatide, which is the combination GLP, GIP. And they swear by it. Low dose, they microdose it. They say it leans them out. They say they feel better, they recover better. And generally, they feel like their loss of muscle mass is less. Now, when you take those drugs, you have to lift. But if you lift, these drugs are going to lean you out and you're going to look more ripped. I mean, that's just got to happen because as you lose sub-Q fat, your muscles are more prominent. So I definitely believe that. The other thing they all tell me, and, most of them don't drink, is that they can't drink on it. So if you're somebody who probably has, a lot of beers and you go on one of these things just because you want to quit drinking or quit smoking, it's very effective. So again, we're seeing a lot of positive effects of the semaglutide, the tirzepatide, et cetera, and you're going to see a whole slew of them come out because we're huge, obviously, money makers, trillions. I think there is a benefit to monitor your insulin response.
Let's talk a bit about some of the latest news on prostate cancer, which of course impacts so many men as they age as well. What do we know about that?
So, everybody out there needs to hear this because no one should die of prostate cancer, and a lot of people die of prostate cancer. So prostate cancer is totally treatable. It's totally definable. It's totally curable. The article basically talks about freezing the prostate cancer cells in isolation so you don't have to take out the prostate and have all the problems. But everybody out there who's over the age of 30 needs to go ahead and get their PSA taken. You do it once a year. It's a blood test. It was actually developed at Washington University by a guy named Bill Catalone, who's a buddy. Just doesn't matter. Hello, Bill. And at the end of the day, nobody should get prostate cancer. I mean, it's just one of those things that if you get the blood test and your PSA goes up and you get a biopsy, then it's very treatable. It's not treatable when it gets metastasized to your bones, et cetera, and you hear people are dying. So again, the treatment has become even better. The newest treatment beyond this article is something called monoclonal antibodies, where they isolate the cells and just kill the cancer cells, and that's going to be the next wave of magic. But at this point, for everybody over 30, go call your primary care or just go anywhere. Go to CVS and they'll do a PSA. But don't get prostate cancer or not know it. That's unforgivable.
I just have to do a quick PSA, so to speak, right here. Husband John diagnosed with prostate cancer at age 42, which is, when you're that young and you get it, it tends to be a lot more aggressive. And it was pure luck. He had a kidney stone. His doctor he saw just did PSAs as a standard procedure. And I asked him at that first appointment, what would have happened if we would have waited until John was 50 when you did the standard screening the first time? And he looked us right in the eyes, both of us, and said he would definitely not be alive here today. When it was caught early, it was aggressive, but caught early, and he has, been able to move on from that for sure. But it's just one of those things that there's no reason not to catch it early because your odds are just so much better.
Well, Jill, you said something that's really important, and that is he's 42. I just told you need to get your PSA at 30, and you're 100% correct. When you get prostate cancer under the age of 50, it's much more aggressive. But if you wait to 50, some of these screening tests, colonoscopies, everybody's like, oh, put them off. Don't put them off. So what? You get a negative PSA. So what? You get a negative colonoscopy. It's not the greatest. I mean, drink this stuff. It's not great. But at the end of the day, it's going to save your life. When Darryl Strawberry got colon cancer, I talked to him probably, 5-6 days afterwards. I mean, I can't tell you, I was on the phone in 10 seconds getting a colonoscopy because I'm like, you know what? If Darryl Strawberry can get it, I could get it. And everybody out there, get these screening tests. There's only a few cancers that are going to kill you. The odds are just a few cancers. So get the test because they're out there.
Okay, so the concept of shrekking is dating down and settling for someone less attractive than you. Monique, an advocate of this. But it just may ruin your love life. Elaborate, please.
Well, I mean, so the idea is, you're gonna find a mate, and that mate is going to be substantially not as good looking as you are, right? So, make a ugly woman your wife kind of deal from the song of 500 years ago. And the problem, then is, as you're not that good looking, right? What's going to end up happening over a period of time is maybe your bad looks, are going to lead you astray. So it can be a problem. I think you're probably better off. I think you definitely were outkicked your coverage a little bit, Frank. I hate to say that, but at the end of the day, that this whole idea that you're gonna marry someone that's much not as good looking, and then how discouraged you are dating, how you feel bad about dating, etc., can certainly change your look on life. So again, I don't recommend it. It's a hot topic. I saw it. I thought it was hilarious. But again, at the end of the day, it's probably not what you want to do.
I heard an interview with Woody Allen and Bill Maher, and Woody Allen was talking about how that Mel Brooks was like his idol because he was a guy who was not physically stunning, but he attracted women with his personality and his charm. And Woody Allen, who got to know Mel Brooks, said the exact same thing, that I learned from him that I could do this too. And Woody Allen, not exactly, Tom Selleck, dated a lot of attractive women.
Yeah,
too.
or just got his 19-year-old stepdaughter to be his paramour and lover, which I think is also just a great piece of advice, I guess, as well. You guys, talking about non-medical stuff drives me crazy. You do it just to gig me on the mornings. But it's always great to hear from you, Dr. Rick. 10-second last question from a texter. What do you think these copper-infused knee braces, socks, do they have any proven benefits, or is it just hype?
No, there's no scientific evidence. It is hype. They do provide a little bit better support, but for everybody out there, there's certainly no harm in getting a copper bracelet. Some people say that green stuff on your wrist or on your knee is toxins. That's not true. But again, there's no, the straight answer to your question is no, there's no scientific evidence. But wearing a brace is a good thing to do.
Good stuff, Dr. Rick. We'll talk next week. Thank you, sir.
Take care.
All right, Dr. Rick Lehman joining us on the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS.
He always has lots of great advice for you guys, and we always appreciate hearing from you. And a little great advice is we are in what's called temperate St. Louis season, which doesn't happen that often in St. Louis. We have a few weeks in the spring if we're lucky, a few weeks in the fall, and we've just got some nice temperatures here. And don't be like me. Premier Heating and Cooling would love it if you would be a little more proactive and not be like me and wait until you're in the middle of a huge cold snap and then the furnace that you really needed to replace months ago is needing to be replaced in an emergency situation or in the middle of the hottest temperatures. And that's when the air conditioner that you knew was going to need replacing goes out. And then you're in a tricky situation because you can't safely stay in your home. Instead of that, if you know you're on your last legs or it's just time to say goodbye to that risky old furnace or air conditioner, if every year when somebody comes out and does the checks on it, they're saying, ooh, I don't think it's going to make it through another season, don't risk it and do some planning ahead. Take advantage of things like financing. Take advantage of being able to really do your research, get the information you need, make improvements to your duct system if you're home, if you've got those rooms that the furnace doesn't quite seem to kick out heat to or cooling to. Now's the time to take care of that. PremierHeatingCooling.net, 636-916-1122.
Diana from Newstetter's Fine Jewelers here to remind you, we don't just offer the best pieces, we offer one of the last master hand engravers in our country. My father can create timeless, personal, and unforgettable pieces. Come by our showroom at the corner of Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or learn more online at wowdiamonds.com.
Inland Marine Boats in Barnhart has been serving your boating needs for 38 years. Hi, I'm Jim, and this is my son, Ryan.
Remember, you only get 18 summers with your kids.
Make the most of them with a boat from Inland Marine Boats, your Mercury Marine dealer.
At Maryville University, we power dreams, not just degrees. For nearly 150 years, we've empowered graduates to build successful careers. At Maryville, expect a rigorous, technology-driven, mentor-inspired education in a diverse and inclusive learning environment. We help you take it to the next level, no matter what field you choose. Now is the time to turn your ambition into action and transform your dream into reality. Start your journey at maryville.edu.
Kuna Food Service has been the trusted food supplier in the Midwest since 1918. For over 100 years, Kuna Food Service has been distributing the highest quality food products to some of your favorite restaurants while delivering superior customer service. When a restaurant puts their trust in Kuna Food Service, they get a team that truly cares about their success. That's why at Kuna, they like to say, they're big enough to handle it, yet small enough to care. Check them out online at kunafoodservice.com.
A legendary weekend is coming to the Lou. Don't miss the Stiefel Charity Classic presented by Compliance Solutions, September 4th through 7th at Norwood Hills Country Club. Watch PGA Tour champions compete and enjoy a live performance by music sensation OAR at Friday's community concert presented by CarShield. Tickets start at just $20. Kids, military, veterans, and first responders get in free. Get your tickets today at StiefelCharityClassic.com.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050. And have a banner day.
At Midland, we know sometimes all it takes is a moment for an idea to spark, or to make it happen, a moment to find your dream, or build one, a moment to start your forever, or at least start planning for it. Whatever moments you have, Midland is here for them and can help you make them. Midland, brighter together. Visit us at midlandsb.com. Midland States Bank is member FDIC.
How do you separate estate planning from elder law? You don't, because they're so intertwined. Let's face it, we're all getting older, and you need to make these decisions today, whether it's for your parents, for yourself, or for future generations. Rudy Beck, Jay Lennox, and Carolyn Stolzer have been navigating these important decisions for more than 50 years. Beck, Lennox, Stolzer, Estate Planning, and Elder Law. Call them, 636-946-7899 or beckelderlaw.com. You can thank me later.
Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant has been a staple in St. Charles for 35 years. Our comfortable, casual atmosphere offers some of the best comfort food you've ever had. Customers might know our delicious breakfast, but you can have whatever you want, anytime you want, with our full menu 24 hours a day. Nothing warms your heart like Gingham's famous vegetable soup, and we can cater your event, too. If you like home-style food and great friendly service, you'll love Gingham's Restaurant in St. Charles. 636-946-0266 or ginghamsrestaurant.com.
This is Mariah, third generation at Newsteaders Fine Jewelry. Buying an engagement ring can be intimidating. At Newsteaders, we ensure complete understanding of your purchase. We offer a choice in both lab and mine-grown diamonds and are able to work with any budget. Let our family help educate you on your choice at Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or at wowdiamonds.com.
Welcome back. Little Diana Ross for you. Everybody very thrilled with her performance. Did Lynn say she went?
Yes,
Yeah.
and she said it was great. She actually, I think, liked John Baptiste as much or even a little bit more. Apparently, he just set the place on fire as well. People absolutely loved him.
So, 81, I believe. Okay, so we're going to give away 4 tickets to the Stiefel Charity Classic and the concert. And
Go see OAR. And you said that the venue on the golf course is just going to be really unique and fun.
It's going to be on the 18th hole of the East Course, which is a lot of room. It's just beautiful. It couldn't be any better, and the weather's going to be great. So Bernhard Langer is coming in. He's one of the greatest golfers of all time, and he is the all-time winner in victories on the Champions Tour. So the question for you, the first person to text in will win this.
We'll win 4 tickets to OAR.
Yep. Will be this. Whose record did Bernhard Langer break to become the all-time winner on the Champions Tour.
Ha! I know this. No, I do not know this.
4126. Do you know it?
No. I will learn when I hear from one of our crack
Not too
texters who's on top of it. I know it's probably easy for the rest of the world, but that's it would be new information for me. Our friends at McKnight Place, I'm not going to lie, it's been a challenging few months as my parents have had some health difficulties, and they do not live in St. Louis. I really wish they did, because I could just call my friends at McKnight Place and say, please help us with this transition. It's something that they are so good at. And one of the reasons that so many families like mine choose to take their families, their loved ones, to McKnight Place, have them tour, and then often ultimately make the decision to live there, is because they have something that many other places don't have. They have different locations. So you've got the Gatesworth, you've got McKnight Place, you've got Park Provence. Depending on what your loved one's needs are, it really does take a village of expert memory care clinicians if one or more of your parents or loved ones or relatives or neighbors are having issues in a couple. And you want to make sure Park Provence, of course, is the place that has the most advanced care available for dementia and Alzheimer's disease in St. Louis. McKnight Place has a big spectrum of care for people. Same thing with the Gatesworth as well. Start the conversation early. We've learned that in our family. I think it's one of the most important things you guys can do as well. Check out all of the different options online today, or give our friends at McKnight Place a call, 314-993-3333, and set up your appointment today. Tell them we sent you. Lots more coming up.
Congratulations to John Beal Roofing. Want to give them a shout out. They've been a sponsor of the show through thick and through thin for coming up on 20 years. And their message has remained the same all these 20 years. Make sure you call someone local. With all the storms that have been in the area over the last couple of months, it's been busy, and a lot of out-of-towners are coming in. They sure are nice, but you know what? They'll take half your money, and you never see them again. Somebody from the insurance industry told me, make sure you call local. I told them I was well-schooled. John Beal Roofing will guarantee you the best price. They'll work with your insurance company and make sure you get the claim you deserve to fix it and fix it right. Roofing, siding, gutters, all storm damage, John Beal Roofing will take care of it. Keep it local and keep it John Beal. Keep it in the family for 20-plus years. John Beal Roofing, 1-800-NEW-ROOF or johnbealroofing.com. Are you retired? Are you thinking about retiring? Who is helping you with retirement? Might be time to check out the show When Retirement Happens, hosted by Kevin Lloyd of Legacy Wealth Advisors. Saturday at 1, Sunday at noon on the Big 550 KTRS.
He's coming. Here he goes. Surprise! Your table saw broke. Also, the warranty expired weeks ago, so you need to pay for a new one out of pocket.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Oh, and the replacement part you ordered doesn't fit, so it's completely useless. What a waste.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
Gelmish & Sons have been providing quality heating and cooling services since 1950. They work exclusively with Lennox, the preferred choice of St. Louis homeowners. Call Gelmish & Sons for your next Lennox HVAC installation and service. 314-993-1110.
Truck drivers and owner-operators, there's never been a better time to team up at Schneider. We have more team-friendly loads than ever, including express delivery parcel freight that offers great miles with no delays to keep the wheels turning. Plus, for a limited time, company team drivers may be eligible for a sign-on bonus of up to $16,000. Owner-operator teams may qualify for a $10,000 incentive. Explore team driver positions at SchneiderJobs.com and search team contracting jobs at SchneiderOwnerOperators.com.
The Big 550.
KTRS, St. Louis.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. The Trump administration broke the law when the president deployed federal troops to Los Angeles this summer, according to a new ruling from a federal judge.
U.S. District Judge Charles Breyer ruling the president and his administration violated the Posse Comitatus Act, which prohibits the military from being used for domestic law enforcement duties when the military was deployed to L.A. Today's order sets the stage for a high-profile appeal as the president ramps up the use of federal troops in other U.S. cities. Judge Breyer had previously ruled the president lacked the authority to federalize the National Guard. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Protesters voicing their concerns about the Trump administration over the long Labor Day weekend. ABC News Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce.
In large cities from San Francisco to Chicago, New York, and here in D.C., we saw protesters speaking out against the Trump administration and voicing support for workers on Labor Day, demanding a living wage. Also protesting Trump's immigration policies and his deployment of the National Guard to major cities as the president, we know, continues to threaten to expand the use of military power on U.S. soil.
China's President Xi hosting Russia's Vladimir Putin and India's Prime Minister Modi. It could have major ramifications for the U.S., especially with India frustrated over President Trump's new tariffs. ABC's Ian Pannell with the latest on
China touting its diplomatic, economic and military might as enemies and rivals of the U.S. are gathering in Beijing. Over 20 world leaders attending a giant military parade Wednesday, including Iran and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Xi Jinping promoting this idea of China as a reliable, stable partner, trying to contrast with the Trump administration's often chaotic and punitive style.
Summer now officially over for many kids across the country. They're back at school, and new rule for many, no phones in class. At least 31 states now restrict the use of phones in schools. You're listening to ABC News.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
72 degrees at 11:03 with KTRS News. I'm Steve Potter. University of Missouri leaders will host a groundbreaking ceremony later this week for 2 additions to the University of Missouri Research Reactor Facility. One will house 3 production lines for making an active pharmaceutical ingredient used in cancer-fighting drugs. These new additions will streamline operations and greatly increase the number of medical doses available for patient care. The groundbreaking ceremony will be held Thursday on the Columbia campus. A new Illinois law will provide care for retired police dogs. Metro East State Senator Erica Harris sponsored House Bill 3140, creating the Care for Retired Police Dogs grant program, which provides up to $1,500 each year to reimburse adoptive families for veterinary expenses. To qualify, a canine must have served at least 5 years or 3 years if injured in the line of duty. The program will be fully funded by sales of Illinois' new Canine Memorial License Plate at no cost to taxpayers if at least 2,000 plate requests are received by January of 2028. St. Louis County begins demolition today of derelict properties in North County as part of its neighbor stabilization program.
Today marks the official beginning of an $11 million demolition project to clear more than 200 problem properties in North County. The first demolition is happening in the Castle Point neighborhood, which has been plagued with vacant and abandoned properties for years. Spanish Lake and Glasgow Village are also included in the project. The funding for the program comes from the American Rescue Plan. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
2 people were injured following a boating accident at Truman Lake. The Missouri State Highway Patrol reports 2 boats collided yesterday morning, sending a 64-year-old man to a hospital with serious injuries. A 47-year-old man in the other boat suffered minor injuries. And the region's first food truck plaza is expanding.
9 Mile Garden in Afton cost $4.5 million to build when it debuted in July of 2020. Now the group that owns it, Seneca Commercial Real Estate, wants to expand, but this time they want to expand indoors. The plan is to move and update the existing indoor bar area, called the Canteen, by taking over the retail space next door. The expansion will also allow some current outdoor events to move inside. 9 Mile Food Truck Plaza rotates 30 different food trucks with live music on Friday nights, movies on Saturdays, and they're kid-friendly and pet-friendly. 9 Mile Food Truck Plaza is located in Afton at 9375 Gravois Road. Sobe Bay, KTRS News.
This KTRS Business Minute brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. You can place your order anytime at WKF.com. Starbucks is building a new location along Interstates 55 and 70 in Illinois, in addition to 2 new stores that's already opened this summer on the Missouri side of the St. Louis region. A $2.6 million Starbucks development is under construction on previously vacant farmland in Troy. And now let's take a look at the markets, brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune in to Straight Talk on Retirement, Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. In the markets, the Dow down 551 points at 44,993, NASDAQ down 407 at 21,049, and the S&P 500 down 97 at 6,362. In sports, St. Louis City SC was unable to rally from a big deficit in a 3-2 loss to visiting Houston. It was a rare victory for the Dynamo, as they hadn't won since July the 5th. Our forecast calls for partly sunny skies today, an afternoon high near 82, partly cloudy tonight with an overnight low in the mid-60s, mostly sunny tomorrow, some isolated afternoon showers possible after 4 o'clock, tomorrow's high 87. At 11:07, partly cloudy, 72 degrees at the Gold Tower at Westport. Steve Potter, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
The City of Wildwood invites you to join the celebration as it celebrates its 30th anniversary. Celebrate Wildwood will be Saturday, September 20th, kicking off with its parade at 10 a.m. and then followed by all-day activities with fun for the whole family. A large assortment of kids' activities for all ages, and for adults, a vendor market, food vendors, music and dancing, and the night wraps up with a spectacular fireworks show. For more information, go to cityofwildwood.com/celebrate Wildwood. Consider yourself invited.
And welcome back. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. Frank Cusimano with Jill Farmer on Tuesdays at 11. We talk with Joe Holloman from the Post-Dispatch. Joe, good to be with you. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. One of our topics today about wearing white after Labor Day. And then right off the bat, I'm guessing you probably don't have a pair of white jeans or white slacks in your closet. Is that correct?
Frank, you can read me like a book, I'll tell you. No slave to fashion here. If I had white, I would make it a point to wear it after Labor Day just to kind of stir things up. But alas, I have neither of those things.
I can't picture Joe in a pair of white 7 jeans, the skinny jeans and some topsiders. Just can't picture that.
In my whole life, I've never pictured myself in skinny jeans, even when I was the age. In fact, if you're over 40 and wearing skinny jeans, stop it. Just stop it.
You heard it here first.
It's sort of like wearing a baseball cap backwards after you're 40.
Yeah,
Turn that baby around and act like a grown-up.
Okay, speaking of those, that's our other question of the day, was sort of witnessing bad behavior of sports fans and what to do if you get stuck with that guy who has the need to be critical with a foul mouth about every play, the players, the coaches, and everybody. Have you had that experience recently? And if so, do you think it's getting worse or it's just always been around?
Well, I wouldn't say recently, but I've had it over the years. I've been to many sporting events, and I don't mind. Obviously, you pay for your ticket. You're allowed to cheer. You're allowed to boo when you don't like the way things are going. But the person who basically has had too much ESPN Sports Center in their life, and they have to have the running commentary, that probably aggravates me more than the person who will jump up intermittently and say, "You stink," is the person who just every play has to dissect it behind me. So, I guess I've never felt the need to the good thing, I guess, this year at Busch, you can relocate yourself and there's open seats.
Yeah.
But I sort of, once I got to be of a certain age, I realized turning around and getting in somebody's face was probably not the smart way to go. I would do the usher thing. I have yet to have to do that. I've been close. But, now, honestly, I just either try to move, and I don't go to as many sporting events live as I used to. But, it's terrible. And I think the thing is that, and I think the problem, and I am a player of them myself, but fantasy leagues have made has made everybody an expert at running a ball club, a hockey team.
Fair.
And that's the part that really aggravates me with the old, I don't see why we don't trade Arenado for Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. This is, and you got to listen to that malarkey through the game. So, yeah, it's very annoying, and I'm finding more and more often that my cable bill allows me to watch a whole bunch of sports from the privacy of my own home. So.
Well, it is interesting, though, but like when we grew up on like Sports Open Line, you'd have all those ridiculous trades where you trade Reggie Cleveland and Luis Melendez for Hank Aaron. Why won't they do that? I mean, just...
Right. We're giving them 3 players, man.
Exactly.
So and now it's even worse because everybody and the thing about that, and again, let me say this: I have been playing fantasy baseball for more than 40 years, so I'm addicted to it. I love it, but this idea that running your fantasy team is how it works in the real world is this delusional condition that people have about, and I have my problems with John Mozeliak. I'm sure every team in every city has a problem with something their general manager or chief of baseball operations has done. Things don't pan out. But this idea that running your $250 rotisserie league team is something like running a major league team is patently absurd. But you'll have to listen to these people go on and on during a game about it. And those are the folks you just want to – I try the dirty look every once in a while. I'll admit that. I try that, parental, like, really? You're going to do this all game? But, yeah, sadly, the behavior of the American public is not on the upswing.
All right, so one of the big stories nationally is ICE possibly coming to Chicago. I'm wondering, to localize it, where do we stand with Eric Schmidt's ideas about increasing FBI presence in St. Louis to combat crime?
Well, we're in this thing, and I think we touched briefly on it. Eric Schmidt has talked about it. The problem is the FBI won't talk about it. And that's just kind of par for the course as to exactly what they're going to be doing that they're not already doing. I mean, there's an FBI office in St. Louis, and the FBI is involved in law enforcement in St. Louis, as we know from time to time when we write stories about, federal authorities arrested so-and-so in a drug ring or a money laundering ring. So the idea of federal law enforcement being involved in local enforcement is nothing new. It's just what level is it going to be? Are they going to come down and start just investigating I'll say regular homicides, and I don't mean that there's anything run-of-the-mill about a homicide, but homicides, by and large, unless it's special circumstances, are investigated by local police departments or the state police. It's not the venue of federal authorities. Are they going to be doing that? Don't know. Problem is when it comes to federal law enforcement authorities, they are very tight-lipped when it comes to what exactly are you going to be doing. Part of that being out of necessity, and part of it just being that's the way the feds play the game. So
you've been on top of covering the story of Darlene Green getting paychecks, even though she is no longer employed by the city, and how that has all unraveled. And your latest update has to do with, I think, who is actually taking responsibility for this, or how things are going to maybe be prevented in the future. Update us, if you would.
Yeah, the story was never that somehow Miss Green was trying something nefarious.
Mm-hmm.
The story was always, how did checks get cut in her name for a decent amount, $168,000 a year had they been cut all year? How did this person end up, this comptroller for 30-something years that everybody knew, end up back on the payroll? Okay, that's number one. Number two, in a job that was already filled of budget director, making $168,000 a year. And the best it seems is that one person in the Department of Personnel, at least it seems now, and they're investigating it, added her to the payroll list, as if so let's put Joe Jones on the list at this job and pay him this amount of money, and let's start cutting them checks. And then the question after that is, the one person put them on there. It seems that higher ups were at least aware that maybe she had been placed back on the payroll and that maybe the situation existed and didn't do anything about it. So right now, the Civil Service Commission, which has probably been at it about 2 weeks, is looking into how this all came about. And again, it's not that anybody was attempting to defraud the city. I think what some people, including Mayor Kara Spencer, Comptroller Donna Behringer, said, wait a minute, is it this easy to just add people to a budget? I mean, that's just, it's ripe for abuse. Not saying it was abused, but if that's the situation, what's to stop anybody in a personnel department of a certain level of adding a name to the budget, add a salary that they assign, and then having checks cut? And I think that's where the investigation is looking at, is not Darlene Green, but the procedure that allowed this to take place. And I called them last Tuesday, as a matter of fact, and they're still investigating. The Civil Service Commission is a volunteer body, so these people do have full-time jobs, and so it's not as if that's their job. So what they're trying to do, with the help of the counselor's department, the city lawyers, is to investigate how this all came about, and probably on a weekly basis, I will be calling them and bugging them and asking them how it's going. But for right now, it's still under investigation. They're not saying what they're doing, so I'm giving them a little time to get some things done, and I'll be checking back in with them soon. So
St. Louis Magazine and Sarah Fensky did a Where Are They Now? And one of the questions was Kim Gardner. Do you know what she's up to?
Other than I had heard pursuing the nursing career, I have not heard a word. And those rumors kind of died out a while back. So the Where Are They Now is kind of a good entry into that question. Right after she had resigned from office, in the couple months after that, the word was she was pursuing nursing jobs. And then, as is the case with with not only the American public, but the American media, our attention span wanes at times. And so a lot of times it's out of sight, out of mind. So I have no additional information to add other than the last I had heard, was she was pursuing work in the nursing field, which apparently she was also pursuing while she was the prosecuting attorney.
Wouldn't that be wild if you're in a
now
hospital?
she'll have more. Maybe she'll have more time to dedicate to the nursing profession.
Yeah.
Now that pesky prosecutor's job is off her plate.
That would be wild if you're in a hospital. My name is Kim. I'll be your nurse today. I'd like to check your pulse. Wait a minute, are you
Somebody
Kim?
said to me, and I wish I could take credit for this, is saying that if you're a person who's politically involved, are you frightened to death, or are you pleased when your anesthetist is Dr. Sam Page and your nurse is Kim Gardner? Like, where was I on all these criticisms of these people? So, not my line. I wish I could take credit for it.
Too good. Joe Holloman, as always, we love our conversations with you.
Same here.
Enjoy your short week. All of us, it feels like a Monday, but it actually is a Tuesday. We know that because you're with us on Tuesdays. Thanks for helping us keep track of the days of the week, and we'll look forward to next time.
Anything I can do to help you two, call me.
Okay. He is the best. So he brings up a good point. It's the difference between one person, like at a game when we were talking about that conversation of behavior of sports fans. It's the running commentary. To me, that's the equivalent we talked about of somebody at a musical, like sitting next to you and singing the songs out loud when you're trying to hear what's on stage. There's just this aspect of, wait a second, I want my experience to not be totally dictated by you next to me.
Or especially like if men who can't dance, and most men can't, dancing at a concert, that kind of annoys me.
Oh,
especially from our way,
No, that doesn't bother me. I think anybody who's dancing is less less disruptive to me than singing. On the Royal Banks of Missouri text line, lots of you weighed in and said, Jill, just go get the usher. Don't sit and complain about it yourself. You become part of the problem. That's a very good point. I appreciate that. And somebody pointing out, there was a conversation on the Today Show about concerts and standing at a concert. If you go to a concert, should you just expect to stand the whole time because the music has you rocking out and people have a right to stand up and dance? Or do you think that should be saved for only the biggest hits?
Yeah, the biggest hits, yeah. And I don't like it at like sporting events either, like soccer games. I mean, you just spend a lot of money and you're standing the whole time. Or I don't know if that's the case now, but initially it was sitting.
It all just depends on where you're sitting. And I think if you are an individual that wants to sit, you need to know and buy a ticket, like in the kind of seats where people might be sitting. You know, if you're sitting up front, you just got to expect that people are going to stand.
So yeah, if you're in the
City SC games, at least initially, it didn't matter.
But now it's mostly by level. If you're on that second level, people are really sitting. But if you're on the first level up close, people are going to stand the whole game. So you got to be ready for that.
Good point. And Connor, where did you say that level is? If you're in the first 10 rows, 20 rows at a concert, even though you've paid the most for your tickets, that's just part and parcel to the experience.
It's kind of a deal, you know. It's especially if it's kind of like flat seating, you know, like if they're on like at the stadium and they have seats there, people are going to stand for that.
And do you think it's because sometimes people are like, I want that musician on stage to make eye contact with me because that enhances the experience?
I think it's just you're close, so you're going to stand.
Yeah,
you got to sit farther away if you want to sit. I'm sorry.
Very, very
I'm with
good
you.
points.
I like sitting, you know, but I know that I'm going to have to sit farther away.
I thought it was perfect where we sat at the Elton John concert when he did his last tour here because, excuse me, people stood up for the big stuff. But the rest of the time, we were just sitting there, just soaking it all in, and it was perfect.
Yeah, but normally that's not even a problem for you because you're in the front row and nobody's sitting in front of you.
Yeah. No, I've never gotten to sit in a front. Honestly, I would like to someday. I'm too cheap to actually pay for them, but someday, big concert, somebody I know and love to be in the front row. That has to be just an incredible experience. Yeah. Have you with a musician?
With Santana at Hollywood, and that was the perfect person to see that artistry up front and personal, up close and personal, with the way he would play the guitar and interact with his group. Oh my gosh!
Now, did you sit or stand?
Well, I don't know. I was sat front row, so I didn't care.
I think you just made Connor's point perfectly well. Good stuff, you guys. Always love hearing from you on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line, and we always love it when we hear from customers who've taken our advice and gone to places like Woods Basement Systems and said, "Wow, when you guys said customer service, you meant it." And that's because Woods is one of those companies that hasn't just decided they want to get in this business in the last few years. They've been around since 1986. So that is going on a very long time, going on their 40th year of making St. Louisans love their homes more, retaining values in our home spaces, and just making our homes be the place that we want it to be for the long term. And that's because they deal with all things basement-y. It can be waterproofing problems. It can be crawl spaces that you have been meaning to get to for a long time. It can be dealing with moldy drywall that was a problem from that one time it flooded, but you didn't get around to making things better after that. Whatever your basement issue, whatever issue around your house that you think you want a company that has stellar customer service, stellar record with the Better Business Bureau, stellar reputation for other customers referring them business, Woods Basement Systems is it. WoodsBasementSystems.com, 618-708-4055.
Across Missouri, designated child care providers are introducing children to a variety of fun and free activities through the Missouri Move Smart program. With this program, providers create environments where children and caregivers are physically active and healthy as they learn, work, and play. Parents, ask your child care provider about their participation in Move Smart. Child care providers, boost the health and well-being of the children in your care by becoming a Move Smart recognized program. Sign up at health.mo.gov/MoveSmart.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Dr. Joe, it can get very confusing, but the one thing we need to know is GLP-1, right? That's the magic cure.
Yeah, they're on the med, and these medications are used, these GLP-1s, for reducing inflammation in your body. I get so many folks that are like, wow, I don't have the knee pain. I don't have the
Because once you start losing weight, all these other things naturally happen to you in a positive way. Not just talk about the deals for KTRS listeners at stlmedweightloss.com.
all KTRS listeners, they get $50 to $100 off their first month. And what's beautiful about it too, hey, I get it. The economy, what we just had, guys, things are difficult right now, but we make the plan work for you. We have financing options. We make this work for you because we realize how important it is to get down in your weight, get your confidence back, and really start feeling like the old you.
Call stlmedweightloss.com and ask Dr. Joe. stlmedweightloss.com.
Got gold? Get green at Jewels on Hampton. Jewels on Hampton pays the most for your precious metals, jewelry, gems, currency, antiques, and collectibles. Jewels on Hampton buys precious and semi-precious gems and stones, scrap gold, and sterling silver. Jewels on Hampton buys and sells paper money, wristwatches, and pocket watches. They even take pianos and cars. To sum up, bring your gold chains, bracelets, rings, coins, dental gold, and more to Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton Avenue in St. Louis. And get green online at jewelsonhampton.com.
The ultimate vacation awaits you as Brentwood Travel brings you the River Cruise Show. Monday, September 8th from 2 to 7 p.m. at the Lodge du Pere. Take in breathtaking scenery, relax and unwind on an ultimate river cruise, whether it be domestic or abroad. Enjoy expert presentations from cruise line representatives from AMA Waterways, Talk, Avalon Waterways, Uniworld Boutique River Cruises, and Viking, with one-on-one consultations, exclusive deals and prizes for attendees, flexible schedule so you attend only presentations that interest you, and complimentary refreshments. Discover your perfect river cruise adventure with Brentwood Travel and the River Cruise Show. Monday, September 8th at the Lodge du Pere, 1050 du Pere Road. For presentation schedule to RSVP and more information, call 314-439-5700. That's 314-439-5700 or log on to brentwoodtravel.com. The ultimate vacation awaits you. RSVP today.
Hi, it's Frank Cusimano inviting you to join me for the Press Box, brought to you by Control Option, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. We're going to interview some of the biggest names in sports and have our opening monologue. That's the Press Box, brought to you by Control Option, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. right here on the Big 550 KTRS, the talk of St. Louis.
Want a song?
Surround my mind like the sun on the radio.
Want a quote? It's the song and quote of the day on the Frank and Jill Show. Right here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Welcome back, everybody. Time check 11:28. Frank and Jill Show. Jill Farmer, Frank Cusimano. Really glad you've joined us on this Tuesday. It feels like Monday. I will be off every day this week. Meaning my timing will be off every day this week, as it is every year.
I didn't know if you were announcing.
No,
you were
I'll be working
out the
every
rest of the
day,
week.
but I will think it's a day earlier than it was. I do this every year, Memorial Day week and Labor Day week. Do you do that, or you worked yesterday? So you probably it feels normal. You worked TV yesterday. I did not. This is again, I'm showing my age. Very surprised to hear that this next song we're going to play is 30 years old. It's by the group Oasis, which, by the way, has reunited. They hadn't played together, the duo, the British duo that had a lot of hits back in the 90s and into the 2000s. They reunited after the last 17 years for a world tour. It is selling out everywhere. They're adding dates in the cities they're in because apparently so many people are excited to see them back together and playing again after this hiatus. I certainly know the song and everybody does. I wouldn't have said I was a huge Oasis fan. It's just something about when my kids were little, I wasn't staying on top of the hit music as much, but I think people maybe about 10 years younger than me, this was pretty integral music in that high school into college time for them.
I mean, yeah, I definitely knew it as well. Didn't they have a falling out, the brothers, and that's why they didn't play for a long time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they sort of have done this, we've recognized.
I guess they set it aside for the money because they're going to get paid
Boy,
a lot.
the passion about the music and the
Oh,
fans
right.
and
It's the
giving them what
passion,
they wanted. That's exactly right. Were you an Oasis fan?
Not really, but
Familiar with that song?
yeah. Well, I know the song obviously, and just I knew they were an English rock band. That's about all I knew about them. But it's a good song.
It definitely is. So I get a kick out of, we've talked about it before, the Republican and Democratic consultants, Hancock and Kelly, who have their show Sundays with Andy Baker on Fox 2. John Hancock, I thought, had a particularly fun statement to make about the latest unfolding of events for Alfred Montgomery, the, let's call him, embattled sheriff in the city of St. Louis. Now, they did go on to comment in this conversation, and it's kind of come up in other places too. Andrew Bailey is actually getting some criticism for some of the handling of this Alfred Montgomery case, because they said he didn't really cross his T's and dot his I's on this one as he's heading off. Maybe he was interviewing for jobs in Washington at the time, but it isn't as sound of a legal case as it could have been if he'd slowed his roll on it a bit and not gone into it as quickly. I don't know whether that's true or not, but I hope Catherine Hanaway will continue to pursue if there is indeed, where there's smoke, there's fire here, and wrongdoing is not the kind of thing we'd like to see in our sheriff's office.
That John Hancock, he is always fun to listen to. Whether you agree with him or not, he's always got a great take.
Yeah, and as a TV person, you have to love a soundbite machine like that for sure.
He has a son that went to school with my children at Westminster, and he has the gift of gab too. Like, he's the wittiest, funniest kid. And like at 15, he just had it.
That's funny. So John Hancock's, Mandy Murphy's, and your kids were all in school together. Yeah. There were some good broadcasting political greats there.
And they're also baseball greats. Like every St. Louis Cardinal in this little time period, like Matheny's kids, we're talking a lot of them. Bennis's kids, a lot of them. Worrell's kids, a lot of them. They all went to Westminster. That's probably why we were so great in baseball for so long too. Yeah, and they were all helping out coaching.
Yes, well, that certainly does not hurt. Well, we're looking forward to a great conversation continuing on the Frank and Jill Show. Lots more coming up after these messages. Do not go away.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
A weak weather disturbance nearby, spitting out a few spotty showers this morning. Let's have the umbrellas handy, but rain coverage is limited overall. Otherwise, it's a partly sunny and cooler than normal day, with highs in the low 80s this afternoon. Partly cloudy and dry tonight. We'll drop it down to about 63 early Wednesday. Tomorrow, warmer, a high of 86 as we wait on the arrival of a cold front. That front shows up late in the afternoon and evening on Wednesday, bringing scattered showers and a few thunderstorms. And then much cooler air behind that front on Thursday. Highs only in the low 70s under mostly sunny skies Thursday afternoon. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
All right, so you're looking for a new front door, maybe to change the style up a little bit. Maybe you've got some windows that are leaking and aren't very energy efficient, and you'd like to get some new ones. And so you start looking for a window company. Let me tell you about my friend and my neighbor, Larry Thornton from the Window Store. He's been selling windows and doors in St. Louis for 37 years. He has access to all the quality windows and all the quality doors. And unlike so many other window companies, it's not a marketing game. Buy one, get the next 7 free. At the Window Store, you buy one window, you get one window. But when you compare apples to apples, right, you'll notice that the Window Store has much better pricing. There is no hard sell. They're not going to stand in the middle of your living room demanding you sign on the dotted line. For 37 years, they've beat everybody on quality, on price, on customer service. If you need windows or doors, that's why you need to call my neighbor, Larry, or his son, Joe, 314-739-0002 or wswindow.net.
I'm Farmer Dave, and here's my good friend and owner of MasterCars Inc., Alex Rosenberger, with today's hot MasterCars Inc. deals.
Thanks, Farmer Dave. Summer may be winding down, but that means the great weather is moving in. Time to get the convertibles, motorcycles, and sports cars out. We're selling them at a brisk pace. As a result, we need to buy even more of them. If you have a very clean, classic, collectible, convertible, sports car, or even an everyday car you want to sell, how about an entire collection? We'll buy it all. And if we're buying them, of course we sell them too. Check out our site for some of the finest hand-picked vehicles for sale in the country. Ours are that good. Give us a look. It'll be worth your time.
So rev that motor and point your car in the direction of MasterCars Inc. and buy or sell today. 4100 Namioki Road in Granite City, or visit MasterCarsInc.com to get more details. That's MasterCarsInc.com.
When you pay for tree work, you want to be sure you're getting the most for your hard-earned money. That's why you should always use the ISA certified arborist at River City Tree Service in Baldwin, Missouri. Hi, I'm Steve with River City Tree Service, and we've been the go-to tree service since 2008. Tree removal, tree trimming, storm damage, deadwood removal, stump grinding, and more. Give River City Tree Service a call for all your tree service needs at 314-270-8071. That's 314-270-8071. River City Tree Service.
My friends at Neighbors Credit Union are rolling out a new account. The new Debit All Day account is designed for the way you pay today. Debit All Day is a checkless checking account featuring a Neighbors Visa debit card, the convenience of online and mobile banking, and access to your direct deposits up to 2 days early. If you're looking for a no-fuss account to make managing your money simple, safe from overdrafts, and free of fees, Debit All Day is for you. Open your Neighbors Credit Union Debit All Day account online today at neighborscu.org.
Brendan WeSee for AAA Home Services, a local family-owned and family-run American Standard heating and air conditioning platinum dealer that's been keeping St. Louis comfortable and safe for 55 years. They service all brands, so schedule them to service your AC. And if you need a new system, they'll give you a fair and honest estimate on American Standard, voted #1 by Consumer Reports. You'll get the best pricing and tax credits of 2025. Call AAA Home Services at 636-397-3200. Online at AAASTL.com. Call AAA. We're on our way.
All right, we are back. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. Frank Cusimano with Jill Farmer. We're delighted to have in studio a real St. Louis success story, the pride of Riverview Gardens. Mark Lambert, the name of the company is Compliance Solutions, and they have been a big part of St. Louis because, Mark, because of you being a part of the golf tournament, the Stiefel Charity Classic, presented by Compliance Solutions, this tournament lives another year. And why the need and why the feeling that you have to be a part of this?
Well, I just love St. Louis. There's so many things. It's the fabric of my being and my family. We were all over St. Louis. My grandpa was born here in 1891 on Oakland Avenue. My dad's brothers, they used to ice skate, play hockey outside. They did stuff with Yogi Berra and stuff like that. His brothers were like awesome. One of them almost made, pro baseball or whatever, but he got into the Navy and he was there during, Pearl Harbor. He's an engineer at McDonnell Douglas and all that. It's just St. Louis is it means everything to me. The Cardinals, the Blues, the whole ball of wax. Good stuff.
Florida is home base for you now, but you listed a lot of delicious and delightful things that you cannot miss when you come back to St. Louis, and you're trying to incorporate a lot of those into the golf tournament experience for folks as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we have Ronnie's Ice Cream, and they sponsor a lot. They provide ice cream to Muni Opera or whatever, so we got 25,000 free scoops of ice cream.
Wow.
We have an ice cream tent at the Fan Zone, and it's sponsored by Compliance Solutions, and we'd love everybody to come out and get that. So we have that. We've got toasted ravioli. We got Mama's on the Hill.
Of course.
You've got the Gooey Buddy coffee cakes. We've got the old Vienna hot riplets and all
Yeah,
that
red
stuff.
hot
I mean,
riplets.
you got Emo's Pizza last night. You know, you got the whole ball. There's just a culture.
Are
There's-
the
there's-
golfers going to get to try all these St. Louis treats then too?
I don't know about all of them, but they'll get enough. Of course, you know they're trying to be healthy too. So you know.
Yeah, so let's clarify this for our fans
Yes.
that are going to be at that tournament. There's going to be a ton out there.
Yeah.
They can go by your place
Yeah,
and get free ice cream.
That's correct.
And
the
that's
fan
is it
zone.
located on the about it's a short walk from the putting green.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's on the 18th fairway. Off to the right, the fairway. There's a fan zone and all that. And then, you know, I've got my son here and all that. We're making these. It's almost like a hot dog eating contest, but it's like a kitchen sink. They call it a kitchen sink type thing. We got a bowl of ice cream, and if you can eat the bowl of ice cream, like 8 scoops, within like 10 minutes, you get $20. So, you know, if you love ice cream, this is the place to be.
That's great.
That is fantastic. So, Compliant Solution, of course, is, as Frank mentioned, you're passionate about St. Louis. You're passionate about seeing golf and bringing excellent golf in the Stiefel Charity Classic to fans here in St. Louis. Get to see so many of the great players doing it. Compliant Solutions, you're in the tax business. For somebody who isn't familiar with what you do, tell us about the company.
Yeah, probably the best way to put it is if you basically you get a cell phone bill. Okay, when you pull out that cell phone bill and you see all those taxes and surcharges on the cell phone bill, there's like 8 to 10 taxes on that thing. Well, what we do is we handle the transaction taxes. So we calculate those for companies so they don't have to hire 15 people. And so we help big companies that like, you know, the Verizons of the world and things of that nature.
Heard of them.
And you've heard of several in Silicon Valley and Zoom and others. And so we handle about 800 clients nationwide. Been doing it for 39 years. But we not only do we calculate it, but we do the reporting. So people don't actually have to handle the calculations as far as the cutting the checks and then reporting it to the Missouri Department of Revenue and all that. So we do it in every state. Do it in Canada. We do it all overseas as well. So it's an easy one-stop shop for folks. This week we actually have a conference. We're at the streets of St. Charles at the Drury Inn or whatever. So we have about 100 clients that have come in. We usually do an annual conference with our clients, and we just go over stuff and teach things and provide. We're gonna provide the great St. Louis experience. But that's what it is. It's an outsourced type of deal. So folks can focus on their customers. So what's called managed service providers, people who actually manage your networks and your systems and your Office 365 and all that. A lot of people they're basically tired of the service that they may get from AT&T or Verizon. They want service. They want actual service, the old-fashioned service. And so these MSPs are all over the place, and there's thousands of them across the United States. A lot of them in Missouri and in Illinois, and they just ask, "Hey, will you handle my VoIP service, my phone service, or whatever like that?" And they do it because you can resell it these days, and they provide great service and manage the data centers and all that.
So we love telling these hometown success stories here on KTRS. And like we had Rex Singfeld in a couple of months ago. And there's usually a moment or a move a person makes that puts them over the top. And I'm wondering, so you graduate from Oral Roberts and you have an accounting background, which would have been a terrific career. But you decide to become an entrepreneur and take a real gamble and open up the business. I'm wondering if there was a moment or, you know, like a time period, you know, if I didn't do this, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Yeah, it was. I was at a Cardinal game. It was in 2002. It was in like August, and I was up in the nosebleed section, and we were just thinking through things, and I just decided, you know, I've been doing. I'm a CPA in Florida, CPA in Missouri, and been doing this stuff for a long time. I started with Arthur Young back in the day in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and that's where I cut my teeth on telecom, and I learned telecom. I'd just been in it for 39 years, and so it was a matter of saying, you know what, I'm going to provide service to entrepreneurs and treat them like entrepreneurs and treat them like service folks. And so that's what happened in 2002, and basically just hung out my shingle. And from there, it was just one thing after another. It was just learning the trade, learning that, you know, I knew what service was about. And I've had friends in Florida, and they just basically said, Mark, this isn't that hard. When somebody calls you, pick up the phone. Don't let it go to voicemail. Pick up the phone. Even if you're eating dinner, just say, hey, I'll call you back in a half an hour. And just call them back. And that's all people want. They just want respect.
Yeah, well said.
And that's what service is about. We kind of lost the service a little bit in America because I call it, we're all mean behind the screen. Okay, we just want to do an email, we want to do a text, we want to do whatever. But it's kind of like nurses in hospitals. They have to touch the patient. Okay, you can't do nursing from behind the screen, and it's hard to do accounting from that way too. Now we've had others who try to do it, but our goal is to talk to folks, treat them with respect, and provide the service that they get.
You sound like Harvey McKay, the great salesman who wrote Swimming with the Sharks. I mean, what you just said in that last 1 minute soundbite, that should be played for everybody thinking about the business world.
Well, I think so. I go back to the old 1970s with the Waltons, the TV show, the Waltons. And the guy who was the head of the Walton, the dad, he says, the guy who shakes your hand is the guy who cuts your wood, okay? It's all service, all the way from scoop to nuts. We used to have Central Hardware here, and they always had the thanks from scoop to nuts.
Yeah, Schnarr's Hardware does that, I have to say, these days, too. Cool. And that's one of the reasons a lot of people do like that. Somebody walks in and says, what do you need done? And they take care of the problem for you.
Sure.
Something else that you do that I think it just blows my mind is you're a runner, but you're not just a runner. You're a marathon runner, and you've got a pretty lofty goal when it comes to marathons. Before we let you go, tell us about that.
Well, my goal is I'm not going to hang up my shoes until I do 100 marathons. Wow. So I've done 55. I've got 5 planned for this year: Columbus in October, Tulsa in November. I've done all of the Walt Disney World marathons. I'm a perfect one of the 40 left that have done all of them since 1994. And then at Richmond in November, and then St. Louis in April. So I've done the St. Louis one this past year. Beautiful route.
Isn't it? Don't
you
they
run
go
across
St.
East
Louis?
Bridge twice. It's a awesome route. I've run several, a rock and roll one in here in St. Louis. I've done a couple other ones running through in the 90s, running through Forest Park and the zoo and all that. Wow. But this route is phenomenal. Big time kudos to the St. Louis Marathon group. They're
here's
just
my
awesome.
question to all of you marathon types.
Yes.
Like when I'm playing golf or pickleball, basketball, there is immediate sensation and fun. Are you telling me on mile 21 in 89-degree heat, you are having fun?
I am.
I am.
Okay. I'm just challenging myself.
Oh, it's the challenge.
I mean, the first couple miles, you're kind of like, why am I out there? You know what I'm saying? But after you get past about 4 miles, you kind of get into that runner zone. You kind of get into that feel. And then once you
only
get
have 22 more to go.
Yeah, once you get past about 18, you're just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna knock this out. It's just, but it's survival. You know.
And no knee issues or leg issues, right?
Well, I get some New Balance shoes at least 2 or 3 times a year, and so it really helps on the suspension. I always say marathons are 3 things. One is the engine, your heart. Do you have a good heart? You got whatever. The second thing is the suspension. Do you have good shoes? So you have good legs. And knees and all that, and then the third thing is going to be a mind. You have to have a mindset that you're going to finish. Wow. And so it's a fun thing.
Well, congrats on all your success, and thanks for being a part of this tournament. We really need it in St. Louis. Without you and Stiefel, we wouldn't have it. Thanks so much, Mark. We
Great.
appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you.
That is Mark Lambert from Compliance Solutions. We'll take a short time out. We'll be right back after this.
St. Louis is home to more than 80,000 University of Missouri St. Louis alumni, where they drive the region's economy and contribute to its social and cultural well-being. At UMSOL, more is what moves us. Find your more at more.umsl.edu.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset. Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor and Pella Window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050. And have a Banner Day.
Summer's here. Is your air conditioner up for the challenge? Hi, Farmer Dave here for Viviano Heating and Air. With Viviano Heating and Air, you don't have to guess. Our certified technicians provide expert AC maintenance, repairs, and energy-efficient system upgrades tailored to your home. Schedule your AC service today by calling 618-345-7498 or visit the website vivianoair.com. That's vivianoair.com. Train, the most reliable name in heating and cooling around. It's hard to stop a train.
Health insurance can feel complicated, but Medica health plans are different. See, we're nonprofit, which means people first, not shareholders. And we're right here in St. Louis with affordable plans for local care you trust. Your doctors, your hospitals, to help you feel your best. With Medica, your health coverage can feel a bit simpler. And now, we're here for you. Medica Health Plans. You're not just covered, you're cared for.
Some of my fondest memories as a kid is heading down to the hardware store. You had to pick up a couple of nails, a couple of screws, maybe a gallon of paint, whatever it may be, right? It was your friendly neighborhood hardware store. Well, those don't exist anymore in St. Louis, except for Schnarr's Hardware. They have 2 locations in Webster Groves and in Clayton Road in Ladue. Schnarr's Hardware is that place where you go in and you can get that bucket of paint, you can get a couple of screws. The advice is always free. And the one thing about Schnarr's Hardware that every single family hardware store used to have, and that is the smell. It smells like a hardware store. It's got the selection. I don't know how they do it. It's a small store, but they got everything you ever need. They got the paint. They got paint matching. They've got big green eggs. They've got screws and nails and everything a hardware store should have. Schnarr's Hardware, 2 locations, 1 great hardware store. Schnarr's Hardware, we'll see you there.
Mizzou football on the Big 550 KTRS is powered by Royal Banks of Missouri. This Saturday, Mizzou welcomes the Kansas Jayhawks to Furrow Field for the first time since 2006 at 2:30 p.m. Pre-game begins at 12:30 p.m. Catch all the action right here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Let's talk about high school for just a moment, because that young man you brought home from the hospital yesterday, you're going to blink your eyes, and all of a sudden now you start talking about high schools. Well, that's where St. Mary's Southside Catholic High School comes in, because it's an all-boys, independent Catholic high school. And what St. Mary's will do is they will prepare your son to be the future. Whether it's college, trade work, or a career of their choice, St. Mary's, over the years, has produced a whole lot of millionaires and a couple of billionaires along the way. And when you graduate from St. Mary's, you have that alumni as a resource. Schedule your visit today and find out more about St. Mary's. stmaryshs.com. That's stmaryshs.com. They will teach the skills that are needed to thrive and survive in the 21st century, as well as teaching old school values. To find out more, stmaryshs.com. That's stmaryshs.com.
The Bommarito Automotive Group is Missouri's #1 automotive group. They've sold over 1 million vehicles by giving you a better price, a better selection, and more for your trade. You can shop them online, see their entire inventory of over 12,000 vehicles at bommarito.com.
Of course, I missed the 2 of you while I was out for a couple days last week, spending some time with my girls and my future son-in-law. But I'm really, really sad. I missed 3 Bay Barbecue.
You missed the 3 Bay that was here for the Mizzou opener Thursday, and it's always great when get some barbecue.
And tell me exactly what you ate and how delicious it was.
I had the saucy rib sandwich, which is my favorite sandwich there.
Too.
It's the rib meat without it's kind of like it's the rib meat but no bones on a sandwich. I like their potato salad too, so I go with the potato salad, and great lunch.
Did you try any of the bakery goods, or were you?
Well, I don't know if they had the bakery goods actually, or maybe I just showed up too late and they were already gone.
I was going to say, I think I heard somebody else talking about it. Bad news for you. I think somebody else just hoarded them.
Did they have the desserts?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if maybe I just showed up too late.
Yes, rumor has it there was some desserts. I heard from other people said it was just, and the chicken sandwich delectable. And of course, Rick and Carol Gross, such great people. He takes such great care in making sure everything is absolutely delicious. And they've been on some national lists recently for the best gas station food, which is really it's not fair to call it gas station food, even though it is in the back of the Phillips 66 station at Clayton Road in 141. The restaurant is there where it used to be the service bays. But not only do St. Louisans love it, but they're being recognized around the country for the great food they have at 3 Bay Barbecue and Bakery. Again, we highly recommend you stop by there for lunch today. Phillips 66 station at Clayton Road and 141. And the trivia question you asked earlier, what was the answer to that?
Yes, whose record did Bernhard Langer break for most wins on the Champions Tour? It's the St. Louis and Hale Irwin. Bernhard is now at 47, and Hale Irwin was at 45. And here's a quick little Bernhard story. Is his caddy on a Monday morning. I was there at 9:30 yesterday shooting a story. His caddy, who's been here 4 times already, was out there walking the course, taking copious notes, looking at the greens, looking at possible pin placements. I mean, there's a reason, besides Bernhard's great ability, that this guy wins. It's attention to detail. And his caddy is kind of a avuncular-looking guy, not real friendly and kind of gruff. Last year, when I had our photographer shooting him do this at the same time, he said, "Don't shoot me, don't shoot me." You know, like, oh, we're going to give it away. Like our photographer's local video is going to have an effect on you winning or not winning. But what a duo those two have been on the Champions Tour.
Oh, that's funny. It's between that and you guys trying to shoot practices, which are now more secret than any CIA mission that exists.
Yeah.
Who would have thought 25 years ago that doing your job of doing people a favor by giving them some publicity would be quite as difficult as it is?
Some people just do not want it. Yeah, they think they're giving away an edge.
Oh, that's very funny. Somebody else on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line 314 saying 3 Bay has the best carrot cake and gooey butter. Oh, and the banana cake. That's the one that I don't think I've ever had better banana cake.
She could open up her own pastry.
Yeah,
shop, you know.
yeah, she could,
really
but
good.
you don't even need to. You just swing down there, go in the back if you got a sweet tooth for sure. So many of you guys weighing in today on our conversation. We are grateful, as always, to have you. We're grateful for those of you who went for the tickets, and we hope our winner enjoys the OAR tickets as part of the Stiefel Charity Classic, one of the many great things going on in sports this week. What do you have going on the press box tonight?
Tonight, we're going to talk with the great writer from the Kansas City Star, Vahe Gregorian.
Oh, say hi to him for us. We love him.
Stiefel Chairman, CEO Ron Krzyzewski is going to join us to talk a little golf, and then we'll talk some NFL football with Howard Balzer.
Some great stuff coming up. It's Restaurant Tuesday, of course, on the Carney Show. They've got Argentinian food in the house. Some big news from the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. You're going to want to hear about Dan Moran, tech writer, in there as well. So stick around for John, Julie, and Max coming up next. Heidi Glau's show at 3 p.m. back in the house. So tune in for them as well. Keep your dial right here. Make it a great day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
He's coming. Here he goes. Surprise! Your table